There are seats up here, ladies, so please move in, okay, so other people can come the closer you are. And I'd like to make an announcement, please. Um, every year, Baruch Hashem, there's a holiday called Pessach, and for that holiday, we have to clean our neshamas. And in practical application in this room and a little bit in the other room, we ask our students to please clean our books, and which is everybody's books. Okay, so I'm passing this sheet around, and I need about 6 or 7 people to stay after this class to clean the books that are on the shelf that I encircled. Okay, so please sign in that. The reason the circles is because we start from the top, and the numbers are top row books. Okay, so please, you're welcome to stay. It's really, you might think it's a joke, but it's not a joke. It's really your inside being cleaned. So that has to it.
Yeah, sure.
And he couldn't stop. He knew what he needed.
What's that? You have to. You have space to go here?
If it's in general, should it be not
Did you know Lou?
If it's in general, should it be not on the circle?
One of the boys.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. Just write your name next to the circle number. And I'll direct you to that number.
Okay, let's start. Geshoy Shana Bein Achayim Geshoy Shana Bein Achayim Geshoy Shana Bein Achayim Geshoy Shana Bein Achayim Shana Bein Achayim, Geshoy Shana Bein Achayim, Mikela Yasi Bein Abanayim. Oy, Geshoy Shana Bein Achayim, Geshoy Shana Bein Achayim, Mikela Yasi Bein Abanayim. Ay 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 da 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 di da da ay da 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 di da 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 bum 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 die 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 ay die die ay di da 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 di da 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 ay die die ay die die oh ay die die ay die die di da 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 ay die die ay di da 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 oy di di oy di di da 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 di di ay da di di oy di da 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 oy da bum 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 da di da 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 ay ay da 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 ay da 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 ay da da di da ay ay da 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 ay 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 da da di da ay ay na 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 ay 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 na na ni da ay tu do di ay 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 da 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 dai 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 ay di da dai di da dai di da di da do dai 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 ay dai dai ay di da 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 do da di di da di dai ay di dai dai da 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 dai 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 ay dai dai ay di da 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 dai ay da da dai ay 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 na 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 ay ay da 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 ay 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 na na da da Di-da-da, ay, 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 na-na-na-na, ay, ba-ba-ba, ma-ma-ma-ma, ay, 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 da-da-da-da. Ay, 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 oh, na, 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 oh, ay, 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 na, 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 ni, na, na, ay, 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 oh, ay, ay, na, ni, ma 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 ay 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 da 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 ay da 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 ay 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 da 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 stronger harmony die 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 da 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 Well, if we don't put it away now, it's not gonna go. We'll see. I'll try again later. Okay. Thank you. What was I telling you? I'm sure I'll call name it. I did. Yeah. It's all like that. Thank you. All right. Shalom Aleichem, everyone. I'm so thankful. I'm so glad that we have a chance to flow through this mikveh that's this month between Purim and Pesach, which is such a crucial time in our lives, especially if we don't realize it. That means it's really, really crucial. That means Ad Lo Yado worked on Purim. It was good. And tonight, it's my grandmother's yahrzeit, and I want to dedicate the shir in her memory, Chaya Rachel Bas Tzvi Hirsch. And I would also like to continue dedicating all the learnings and all the shows, everything, especially during the Shloshim, in memory of our soul brother, Michal Moshe Ze'ev Ben Reb Nosson. Even saying that does not seem real at all. Saying the ending of that name. And I want us all to in his merit, Mamish, in his merit, I had a dream, Mamish, I think it was last night with him, in his merit to really not be afraid by what we're going to be learning tonight. How's that for an intro? In his merit. I'm Putter now, yeah. Now it's on your, yeah. Now it's okay. But sometimes we have, so often, especially with things of Reb Shlomo, when it comes to every time he teaches about a certain holiday, you also have been his favorite holiday. Time he teaches, this is the one, like all the tzaddikim, it says about the Rebbes, each of them had their own mitzvah they were most connected to. So, because when you hear them talk about a certain mitzvah, you saw it came to life. But with him, it's like whatever he had, whatever was about to take was the only mitzvah that he really, his heart was in the moment. Same with being with people. That whoever was with him in that moment, that's all that existed as well. And when you're really with someone and no one else exists, they become the most important at that moment in their home. Tonight's teaching, really in the Schus of Michal, who missing so deeply in such a real way. I want us all to please the gates Bezrat Hashem Yachud Kuchavich L'Shchin Yachad Shemit Kebav Kevachud L'Shnim L'Shem Kol Yisrael. God's to trust what our neshamas will be sending us while we're learning Kim Chaim. Each month, specifically in halachic terms, is always Shloshim Yom Kodem Achag Shoalim V'Doshim. There's always this preparation period. Explained in a very deep way. I don't know how much we prepare for Rosh Hashanah. Prepare on feeling guilty through Elul, but preparing for Rosh Hashanah is a completely different ballgame. There's 30 days before Yom Kippur is the middle of Elul. 30 days before Sukkot is, smack in the middle of Elul. Chanukah, I've been preparing for 30 days. Tu B'Shvat, my friends prepare year long. My friend, Shlomo, he figured every single day on his computer, all his devices, 365 days till Purim. He decided to do this the morning after Purim. He said, if you want, I can send it to you as well, But I have friends that even without the reminders, somehow they're kind of always preparing for Purim, right? But it's been a minhag amongst all of Klal Yisrael that when it comes to Pesach, the preparing is a very, very serious inyan. And obviously, unfortunately, it's mainly been a serious inyan to clean out the chametz, to clean out the physical, not getting too deep right now, just to clean out everything, to clean out an important inyan, like we heard in the announcement before. It's not a stomach cleaning that you do. There's something very deep goes on. But of the chametz from our neshamas, really began, the bedikas chametz began, and said, really, that is the beginning of cleansing of Pesach. Bedikas chametz begins already then. Reb Shlomo would often quote a very, very important teaching from Rav Kook, who would always say that Bedikas Chametz is what this door and every door should be focusing on as their mitzvah. Everyone's so big into kiruv these days, it's unbelievable. Every other week there's a new kiruv. When each nation stops trying to clean up other nations' balaganim, other nations' messes. Rav Kook said true peace will really come down and stay here for good when Mamish, and this Reb Shlomo, this is just not to get too into current affairs, but he said when America stops dealing with China, and when China stops dealing with Japan, and when Japan stops trying to clean Russia's mess, trying to clean Israel's mess, I don't have bdikas chametz. It's just me in my home. Unless you want to take on a beautiful mitzvah, the chiyuv, it's your home. Bachorim mechapsim l'oreneh, bachorim basdakim, in the holes of your own Dalet Hamas. Real peace will come when to not. How often don't we go and search in places in our life that we know need searching because we're terrified of finding out what's behind there, what's there? How often are there moments where we feel, oh, gates are open. Now would be a perfect time to go to that place that I've avoided all year long. What stops you? What doesn't let you go to that place? Oh boy, if I see actually what I've been piling over there, I wouldn't know how to it would paralyze me. I wouldn't know what to do with myself. And for years, I always thought that cleaning out the chametz from my neshamas was like, oh, you're gonna go and figure out all the dirt that's unchametz, right? And you don't want to start the cleaning because you pick up that one rug and you see what you've been keeping under that rug. You can't, right? Which means, and it's that what doesn't really mean this, but this is just how you'd say it in English. An expanse, although it really means moichin, is just so powerful. If you really do the proper shloshim yom, if you're spending this time between Purim and Pesach, going to those places you generally would not go to, besimcha, you know what you realize? That all those places you were scared to go to, you know what's underneath those rugs? The most beautiful you. The most beautiful, precious version of mind when he thought of. So essentially, cleaning out your chametz, going to those places you wouldn't normally, and really this is all in the source of Purim, obviously, right? Purim gives me enough koyach to go into those places I wouldn't search into and realize I thought it was full of darkness there. It's actually full of light. Why have I been covering it? What was I scared of? What was I so terrified of? And Shlomo, in his magnificent way, takes what we just said right now, he ties it all into so. Wait a second. Did it all go on a? Yeah, it's just one page. So even if there's something on the back, the page that has the topic in the front, that's the one that we're going to be doing. As I always encourage everyone, especially with us for the first time, go ahead in the text, because this stuff needs utmost. Every few words need utmost attention. Every few words need us to breathe it in, trying to slow as much as you need, slowly, together, some strong Tylenol, strong cleanser. I shouldn't say Tylenol in this house. You don't use Tylenol. It's chametz. It's chametz. And remember, please, in the schus of Michal Moshe Ze'ev, awesome, to not be scared. Just no room for evil, fear in this room right now. Bichlal, never, specifically tonight. And it's the first time we're learning this, so there might be some typos, but this is, and it's such a schus. I always say to the chevra that learn with us on Monday nights in Efrat, the parsha, to learn Torahs that are being learned for the first time. Can you imagine what it was like? I always say this, and I feel it so strong, especially in this holy house, in this holy yeshiva. Do you know what it must have been like when, like, the students of Reb Nachman or Reb Nassim was passing around the first manuscripts of Moran, and they're looking at Likutei Moran for the first time? So you imagine it, right? But it's the same. Probably didn't realize one of them either. So we have a chance to just realize this stuff that's being learned for the first time. Reb Shlomo said these words in Yerushalayim, in Katamon, in Yakar, but it was never learned like this before. So it's a tremendous chut. Did the words get to the back? Okay, great. So let's start. I'm sorry, no. It's okay. They could share. Time for Shalach Manas, Matanas Levionim. Give it, share with each other. All right. I know that the print is very small, so if it's too hard for you, just open your heart and listen. Look at the words with your heart, okay? Okay, let's hold on to. Why does the Masechta of Pesach, sorry about that, but the word light? Or la'arba'asar. Okay, does anyone know what he's talking about? I'm sure many of you do. What's that? Yeah, what does it mean, or la'arba'asar? What does that say? The night of... Yeah, I know, you would think it would mean the morning, right? You think the morning of the 14th, but it's not. The question begins, or la'arba'asar, which really means the night, but the Torah, but Chazal instituted the word or la'arba'asar when of the 14th comes, the beginning of that day, the beginning of. Yeah. Oh, nice, Chazak. Okay. Do you know, this is Reb Shlomo in the next paragraph. Do you know what I find when I'm preparing for Pesach and I have to look for my chametz? My roots. The roots of my neshama. The first thing God has to show me while I'm preparing for Seder night is my roots. Through my cleaning out the chametz, God is showing me my place in the world. And He's also showing me where I could be. Clear to me, not only are my roots in heaven, the roots of my abundances in the world, you could really only say after Purim. That's the truth, you know? Something like this wouldn't work in November. It might work, but it's not really. Wouldn't last. He says the source of my neshama, it's a great thing to realize that the source of my neshama is godly. We think we know it all the time, but if we actually really felt that all the time, you know, had John in most of our minds 23 hours a day, right? Maybe for some people 24, it wouldn't exist. That chatterbox of confusion. When the clarity that my neshama is rooted, half of the confusion of what I'm doing in this world doesn't cease to exist, but it has its proper spot. I know how to think. And it's a big schus to learn this right now in the Parsha that are dealing with Betzalel, ben Uri, ben Chur, Lematei Yehuda, the architect, the designer. Because it says about Betzalel a lot of things. One of the highest things, I think, we were learning this the other day, that I think it says about Betzalel, lachshov, you know what he could do? He could lachshov machshavot. He could think thoughts. What do you mean? We're always thinking thoughts, yeah, but the way we think thoughts and the way Betzalel thinks thoughts, it's a little bit different. When I know how to think, I know realizing that I'm a godly soul. The mamish Hashem is rooted in me. It's amazing. And then I look at all the hastaras, shebetoch hastaras, all the concealments And it's absolutely clear to me that my chametz, that which does not let me thrive, is playing a godly role. And in the Tanya, the Alter Rebbe speaks about this continuously, and it's an important down. Seduce, it's not for now, but you know what I'm talking about with what Tanya is saying over there, is that when I could see that the Chol also a Shaliach, and it doesn't scare me, I'm able to look at it like that. Yeshli et kol ha'olam, I have the whole world. When I see that those things that usually tear me apart from you are just a pawn, they're just playing like everything else in life. I have everything in the world. Now we reached that place when subconsciously on Purim. Because what does Chazal tell us? Chayav inish l'svei Purim. And I have to reach a state of being, again, it's not, the Besuna means to be perfect, whatever that means. I got to reach that out there state of mind, which means what? That I can't tell the difference between what? Blessed is, meaning that they're both, it's just the same, it doesn't matter. They're all pawns. The whole thing, they're all pawns. Everyone's just a pawn. Everyone's part, like a fucking, I had this amazing walk with Rav in Yagansaka, and we stopped for 1 second and he started talking about this whole old illusion, and how that, versed pretty well. They know their roles by heart, so it doesn't seem like they're acting. It seems like this is really them. And sometimes our Nisyonos, we could tell, they're just acting. It's not real. But sometimes the Yetzer Hara, he's a Gevalt actor. Their lines are memorized perfectly, and they're so in character that you actually think it's real. You actually think that doubt is real in the world. Somehow the Kletz and Purim, there's a buildup of reaching that place of knowing that it's all shtuyot. There's only Hashem Echad U'Shmo Echad. And everyone always cries that last few moments of the Purim Suda, how could I hold on to this? It's so right, it's so clear. How could I hold on to this place I'm getting to? Well, that's why you have now the preparation for Pesach. Because everything we're doing, preparing for Seder night, is to take that of utmost oneness during the Purim Suda, which came down subconsciously, unconsciously, most conscious, aware part of my being by Seder night. That place of utmost drunk, that clarity, be so vital in my life, so clear in my life, so real in my life, and not a thing that just passes through us. So the ending of this paragraph is, and then suddenly it's clear to me, not only are my roots in heaven, the roots of my chametz are coming from the same. What does all this mean? Now, next, please, be very strong right now. What's keeping me from being? There's an unbelievable Torah in the Naos Desha. It's Yaakov, was Rabbi Yaakov of Ishbitz. He was the man who really continued the legacy of the Mea Shilach in the town of Ishbitz. But he had a brother. His name was, I think, Reb Shmuel Usher Biskowitz. And he was the son of the Mea Shilach. He's the son of the Ishbitzer, the brother of the Beis Yaakov. And he has a little sefer, beautiful Ne'os Desha. But he's very, very different. It's amazing that two sons came from the same house of Ishbitz. And the Beis Yaakov Mamish takes every word of his father, the Mea Shilach, and builds the most. Shmuel Usher Biskowitz, he has his own take on things. But it's Mamish the Mea Shilach's son. Okay? So he says like this. On Pesach, you have to bring a korban chatas, a sin offering. So he asks like this. Last night we got out of Egypt. How much time do you have to sin on Seder night, even if you're an expert on sinning? And the next morning you already have to bring a sin offering? By the way, what other thing does this raise? What other shaila? That Ma'ariv of Motzei Yom Kippur on Yud Aleph, right? Yud Aleph Tishrei, when you're saying Slach Lanu and Ma'ariv Yom Kippur. So remember, there's the Eretz Yisrael answer and the Galus answer. Why do you say Slach Lanu why do you say Slach Lanu Avinu Ki Chatanu? It was outside of the land, and the Ma'ariv after Yom Kippur. If you just spent your whole Yom Kippur cleansing yourself, and you have to believe in your tshuva. So why do you say it in Chutz La'aretz? Because we just, in our hearts, none of us decided to mamish be in Eretz Yisrael. So I'm already saying, I'm holy, but hopefully I'll mean that one day. Why do you say Slach Lanu Avinu in Eretz Yisrael after that Ma'ariv? You're already in Eretz Yisrael. Why do you have to say I'm so sorry for what? Rav Daniel Katz has such an important process of this, and a really, really important tool, where he explains that at the end of Seder, we have a concept called, what's the last siman of Seder? Kadesh. You want to sing it? Go for it. Kadesh. Nirtza. What does Nirtza mean? That's what it is, but what does it mean? What's the literal? This was wanted. This was accepted in Shamayim. My Seder, my V'higata L'bincha, telling my children the story of Pesach, this was accepted in heaven. So Pesach night, we're able to say this was accepted. When it comes to our, one of the biggest amalekites of our tshuva is that we don't really believe in our own tshuva. That you actually forgive me, for real. So you start saying Slach Lanu Avinu that Ma'ariv. Rav Daniel was saying that with tshuva, it's crucial to implement that inyan of nirtza into our tshuva process as well, in the most humble of ways. So back inside the question again is, why do I bring a chatas offering? Why am I bringing a sin offering right after I just, how much time did I have to do it? I'm busy bringing a chatas. Here's Torah in the world. Fourth line in the second paragraph. That night when we got out of Egypt, we could have brought Mashiach. The gates were open. The problem is that we were just so happy to get out of Egypt. More. Here to me during the 6-day war, my father says this to me all the time as well. My father was here already. He made Aliyah from Argentina, I think in 1962 or 63. She was here. And he says, he always used to tell me the following thing. It was clear to me during the 6-day war, when we came back to Yerushalayim, we could have asked the Ribbon Shleilim to bring Mashiach. Gates were open. We were so happy to go out and blow the shofar by the holy wall. We were so happy with what we saw. That's it. Why is it that we didn't? So you know what it is? Our concept of God, I'm sorry to say this, myself in this as well. For many of us, our concept of God is pagan. It's a human concept of God. Oh, he gave me this, I can't ask. No, that's if someone offers you, to come for a Seuda to their house on Friday night and you ask if you could stay till Thursday, that's chutzpah. Which is shit happening. But if someone, but when the Ribbon Shleilim, it's the opposite. When the Ribbon Shleilim sees that you're conscious that this is from the Ribbon Shleilim, God is waiting for you to ask for more. But our concept of God is so unfortunately human that we're like, what do you mean? I can't. It's not. Chutzpahdik. I can't be such a chutzpahniak right now and start that. I just didn't say thank you for what you have. They asked the same question to the Rav after the Chayz of Lublin passed away. Remember that in Lublin, Rav Shlomo always said there was no greater concentration of so much kedusha in one room Like there was the tzaddikim walking around there. Usually only the Rebbes would wear white, streimelach and kapot on Shabbos. Shlomo said thousands of Yidden, Rebbes, were walking around the streets of Lublin wearing a white kapot, white streimel Shabbos. So they asked the Rosh Hashanah, they said there was so much Kedusha in the air, and things were mamish happening in Lublin. How is it you didn't manage to bring the Mashiach? And remember the answer. He said, it killed me to say this, but it didn't really feel like we needed anything more. There's a story about the Rebendel of Vitebsk. Reb Shlomo used to say, I love it. He said that one night while they were learning late at night, the Heilige, the Rebendel of Vitebsk was the one who made it to Eretz Yisrael. The Pri Haaretz, he's buried up there. I think he's buried in Tveria. And Reb Mendel Vitebsk, he was one of the students of Magid of Mezrich, and he made it to Eretz Yisrael together with Reb Avram of Kalisk. And Reb Mendel Vitebsk, one night, late at night, while he's sitting learning up a storm, singing with his chassidim, he stopped in the middle, and he walked outside to look, and he came back in. So the Chassidim asked him, what'd you do? So there was such a freedom. Now, while we were sitting here learning, I went to go see if it spread to the rest of the world already. And unfortunately, it didn't. So many years ago, it happens that I used to see Zusha Fruman from the Moshav on Friday night leave the Beit Knesset during the Chadodi and walk outside and just look around. And I think when he came back inside, I was like, Vitebsk, right? Like. Yeah, he said, in here, Gan Eden. He went to go check outside. Next paragraph. The Beis Yaakov said that you want to go and fundraise for a learning center, for a yeshiva, for a shul. Have an interview with Brother Rothschild hears you and says, I'm very young. And you start thinking, I don't want to be a chazer, I don't want to be a pig, and take away all his money, like that was even possible. What should I spend? $1,000. I just have to tell you a funny thing in the middle of this. I was learning, I was Torah many years ago, a different version of it, and I was on a trip. I was somewhere in the States, and I mamish had to raise money to finish Evan Shlomo on Breishis. And I didn't, I remember this so against my nature to ask. It's such a blemish in my nature to think that I'm too big to ask. And someone came up to me the next day after the concert. He said, listen, I heard you were mentioning last night, that you need to finish the funding. So I was like, so I said to him, yeah, I really do. He's like, well, could I, how much do you need? Now, that's such a tricky question. It's never the real answer. How much do I need? There's never a real answer to that question. And well, I heard the drum roll in my head. He's probably Rothschild. There's a whole article waiting for me to come and ask him for the whole. Sent him $60,000. I said, this is gonna be a story for my great grandchildren. And he looked at would 2,500 work? And I realized it was, it was just for me to see if I could ask. It was, the Nisayan wasn't if he was going to give me. The Nisayan was to see if I'm able to. I've never done that before. But okay, so look what he said. What's in dollars, right? Fourth line in the third paragraph. Rothschild says, I wanted to give you $2 million, but okay, if this is what you need. You see what it is? Most of the time, I'm giving God an accounting of what I want. You know why I have to tell him exactly what I want? Because the doors are not that much open. It's still a supermarket, meaning the way that I usually understand that relationship with Ribbon Shalom of I can't ask for too, everything's accounted, everything is pratim, details, can't ask for too much, don't be a chazir. I still have this vision of God as my principle. Like the whole thing is minimizing the Ribbon Shalom to such a non-God figure. It's amazing. Remember the letter that Rav Kook wrote to his son Rav Tzvi Yehuda. We've learned probably 50 times, at least in this room. And it's important to say this all over again, and especially before Pesach, that Rav Kook, the Heilige Tzaddik, the Kohen, the first chief Rav, Schul Stephen say his name, Rav Avram Yitzchak the Kohen, Zecher Tzaddik Kodesh Livracha, told his son, he sent a letter to his son Rav Tzvi Yehuda, he said, listen, you're going to go out to the world, you're going to meet people, you're going to hear a lot of people speaking in the name of God. But there's a pasuk that we say, it says, Ki Shem Hashem Ekra, Havu Godel Elokeinu, that when you call out in God's name, Havu Godel, you have to make God seem Gadol, seem big in the world. And you're going to meet so many people that there's Bamish, Ki Shem Hashem Ekra, Havu Katnus Elokeinu. They're going to make God, when they speak God language, when they talk in the name of Hashem, they're going to make God seem so small, so of getting rid of our chametz to stop making God. It's so little. And you have people, mamish, they speak in the name of the Torah, they make the Torah seem so little. They make the Torah seem so little. Not that you can chas v'sholom make the Torah little or make God little. You're really making yourself little, but you're making what you're representing sound so shallow and so little. You tell God, I want this, I want this. God says, let's open your account. How much credit do you have? And we'll see what's going on. Did you pay last year's bill? We'll bargain it out. Like that's usually how I think the relationship is. Why is that? So look what he says. Seder night, it's a completely different story. And this should be the beginning of our searching for our chametz, this next sentence. Seder night, the gates of heaven are so open that God wants to give you everything. Mamish, everything. So why don't you take it? One of the last Torahs that the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe told us struck me so deep. This is the 6th Rebbe, Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak Shneerson, Ishmas Ha'eden. He was Reb Shlomo's Rebbe. And Reb Shlomo was really, really close to him. In a recent book that was published last year, it's a horrible book, and no one should read it. I'm not going to say the name of it, but there was a document in there of letters that the Frierdiker Rebbe wrote to Reb Shlomo's parents, Reb Shlomo's father. And he refers to Reb Shlomo and his twin brother. He didn't have any sons. He had 3 daughters, the Frierdiker Rebbe. One of his daughters married the Rebbe. And he says about Reb Shlomo and Rebbe Chaim, these are Banai Yechidai. These are my only sons. These mamish my sons. So there's an amazing connection there, soul connection. Reb Shlomo says he passed away on Yud Shvat, and the last tish he had was on Yud Tes Kislev, a few months before. Look what he says. Later on, we realized he was mamish telling us his last will, but that at that moment we didn't know. One of the things, look at what he says here. One of the things he said was that we're always coming to God like beggars. What's a beggar on the street asking for? A quarter, $1. If he has Gewalt Chutzpah, he asks for $5. The Rebbe told us we're not beggars, we're not homeless people. Why don't you ask God for everything? So he says, can you imagine the son of Rothschild standing on a street corner begging for a quarter? Why don't you ask your father for everything? The Ribono Shel Olam wants to give us everything. Why are we so small? Now, let's really go back to this again. Why? Think of it in your own life right now. Think of what you think you need. and ask yourself, what stops me from mamish asking the Ribono Shel for everything? Is it fear of rejection? Is it fear of not being satisfied with what he might give me? Or is it fear that God can't really give me everything? But take this teaching right now into your own heart and soul and ask, why is it that you don't generally ask the Ribono Shel Olam for everything? And then you could really begin this preparation for B'dikas Chametz. Because removing the Chametz from your neshamas and from your lives and from your homes is to enable us to be the sons of Melachim Pesach night, the children of kings that we really are. And the child of a king isn't the homeless beggar on the street. Here comes the teaching of Pesach, Reb Shlomo says. Every Pesach night, the gates are open and God wants to give us everything. Hopefully, every year, we're fixing our vessels just a little bit more. The closer we get to Mashiach, hopefully God gives us more. So now open your hearts 1,000,000 miles deep. And this is really important, Chaver. Please focus as much as you can right now. The Ishbitzer says, now I think we're back in the Beis Yaakov. Not only does God want to give it to you, he already gave it to you. Okay, this is so, I don't even know how to explain, there's no way to explain this sentence. This is only through experiencing can this last sentence play a role in your life. We always think, I have to ask because something's not there yet. You know what happens to you on Seder night with the night of Mochim the Gadlus? This high mind, expansive reality that you're now in, the real reality. Once you have enough guts to ask for everything, you realize it was always there. You realize that all those things that you thought you need and you don't have and it's so hard for you, you realize it was already there in your life. Like Reb Shlomo said many times, most of us are standing next to our soulmates most of our lives looking for them. And it's just, we please, and the bunch of them saying, are you kidding me? It's right next to you. But I don't know, I've gotten in trouble with that stuff, saying that before, so. I mean, not me personally, but I once messed up a few people in my life, so I don't really say that often, but forget about it with the level of soulmates, just in terms of what we need in our lives. What do we need? And this goes back so strong to that story we said last year at the Malav Malka for the yeshiva in Ramat Rachel, and we said it last week at the wedding too at the Badekin. This is a story, if we could go with this story through our searching for our chametz, and for Leil Seder, this will work. Remember the famous story that Reb Beryl of Radishitz, before he was a Rebbe, they used to call him Beryl the Batlan. He was like a mamish and nebuch. He looked like such a nebuch, hanging out by the Sir of the Blind. He had nothing. He was mamish like Reb Su. He had nothing. Beryl the Batlan, Beryl the bum. And you know how we said before that each Rebbe had his own mitzvah, his own holiday that was the most strongest in his life? So Beryl the Batlan, he had a bracha that was stronger than any other bracha he ever said. But when he would say this bracha, it really started to agitate some of the Hasidim. Because they're like, are you making fun of this bracha? Like, what bracha did he say with utmost kavanah, stronger than ever? He would wake up in the morning and they'd hear him screaming it, and he had nothing. What up? He had nothing. He would scream, Baruch Ata Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam, She'asa li kol tzarki, which means it's one of the Birkas HaShachar, right? What's that?
Truth.
What's that?
Na'alaim.
What about Na'alaim?
Mevarchem et Zal Na'alaim.
Right. So, but the pshat of it, what is the pshat of it? Everything I need. Now, it's true, the Chazal teach us that the person without shoes in this world, that's why Tisha B'Av is the day we don't put on shoes, because we feel like we don't have everything we need. Because there's no base on Mikdash. So it's very good use. And then he would scream, you blessed are you, the Ribono Shel Olam, because you have given me everything I need. And some of the Hasidim there, they would say, come on, what, you're mocking God? If anything, that's the last bracha you should be able to say. Who are you kidding? And he turned to them and he said, Chutzpah, who are you to say to me that I don't have everything I need in order to fix my neshama in this world? Do you know what it is to wake up in the morning and to feel that you have everything you need to fix your own neshama in this world? On one of the tapes in the archive, it was Parshas Re'eh in the 80s, and it wasn't Reb Shlomo talking. It was Reb Shlomo talking on the beginning of this tape, and he was recapping all the Torahs that he learned that Shabbos from Reb Shlomo. And he started off, it's such a schus to say this, and he started off by saying, it's Parshas Re'eh. He says, Re'eh anechi nosen lifneichem hayom. Reb Shlomo said that when you really have enough guts to look at the Ribono Shel Olam the way that you know how to look at the world, you'll see that the Ribono Shel Olam is nosen lifneichem. He's giving right before you today everything in the world that you need. That's what it means to be in a relationship with God. So that story from the Radhashitzer strikes a chord because it's one of the brachas we say every morning. You want to talk about starting the day with believing in the words that you're saying? I'm asking you all tomorrow, I'm asking myself too, tomorrow morning when we start the day, take a second with that bracha more than other brachas and say, how attached I am to the words that are coming out of my mouth right now. Do I mamash believe that I have everything I need in order to fix my neshama? Not everything I want. I don't say Sha'asali kol retzoni. I don't say, God, you gave me everything that I want. I say, you gave me everything I need. Second to bottom paragraph again. So now open your hearts a million miles deep. The Ishbitzer says, not only does God want to give it to you, He already gave it to you. It's already in my account, but it's just lying there. So why don't I see it? Because it's so dark. So the Ishbitzer says that this light, what is this light? This is Or L'Arba Asar. This is why when we start learning about the laws of Pesach, Chazal used the word Or L'Arba Asar because it stops being so dark when I begin to realize that I have everything in my account already. I just don't access it. Like right now, how much are we actually accessing the natural light that we were created with in our existence? It would freak us out if we got a glimpse of how small that percentage is. Why is Pesach called Mochim Begadlus, the night of this expansive mindset? Because I see not only does it exist in me so much more, it stops being so dark. There's a light that began. I'm starting to flick with that light. Starting with the match on Purim, I start going like this, and all month of getting ready for clean out my chametz, I finally strike that match strong enough, and I light it, Or L'Arba Asar. And then I can burn it the next morning. Biur chametz. And then I can also, there's an inyan, you have to do this, which is called bitul balev. You have to also not just burn it. You say in all those places that I'm not aware of yet, Ribono Shel Olam, I'm mevatling in my heart. I'm nullifying it in my heart. Chassan and Carl, they're in the room right now. This is mamash a Torah for you guys. You should be zeichen to do the utmost b'dikas, biur chametz, bitul balev before your chuppah. So the Ishbitzer says that this light, this is Or L'Arba Asar, this light contains two sides to it. It has two sides to it. On the one hand, God is showing me what I need to mamish be me. And that's an amazing, 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 precious revelation. When God shows me what I need in order to be me. And on the other hand, God is showing me that I already have what I need to be me. It's mamish that bracha. It really is that bracha. This is the light of Pesach. Do you realize that everything he said right now was explaining 3 letters, or la'arba'asa? Do you realize how rich the Torah? I mean, I don't at all. How rich the Torah Kedosha is. How precious every few letters of the Torah. How mamish explosive every few words of the Torah. Not just can be, is. So there's a lot of, where Baruch Hashem, we're shifting into an age, and I think it's only beginning to happen. I think it's going to happen much more. To be honest, son, you've Baruch Hashem, been a big inspirer for this, is that the days of learning Torah, because we know V'talmud Torah keneged kulam, and it's probably the best thing we can do for our brains, we're shifting into a new era. What's that era called? It's 2 things. If I don't cry over what I learned, there's no chance for this teaching to play a role in my life. No chance. And I hate to break it to you guys. Came to a good shiur, take the pages, it doesn't mean anything. It's nothing. It's nothing if tomorrow morning I don't stop and I say Sha'asali Kod Sarki, and I stay with that bracha for a few strong seconds. Maybe even, I would dare say, a whole minute. Because if I'm not preparing myself for Pesach, you know what's going to happen? Another Seder night, another night of such potential, entering new gates of life, of transformations. And just another one passes. So the shifting into the new age of learning is really an old age of learning. This is what they used to do, is that they would cry over every word they'd learn, and they would also find ways to do shiurei bait, to do homework. You have to clean your home, right? So you're going to do homework right now. What's the homework? Homework. Can you imagine me saying no?
She said that she recommends to everybody that Katzot on Seder night that everybody should just take a minute and leave Seder and like daven and cry their brains out, because that's like mamish when they pay for it. So we've done it the last few years, and it makes the whole difference in Seder, because you're not just in it, then you take the minute and exactly what you said here, you daven your brains out and cry your brains out for everything in the whole wide world.
Thank you for sharing that, because it's so hard to remember that, because we're so busy with a lot of details when it comes to all the important holy details surrounding Leila Seder. It's very overwhelming and intimidating, but that's just as important as making sure there's no bread in your house, is what Neely just mentioned in the name in Leila's name. It should be such a filling of light for Leah's life in all of our lives. All of us should just have enough guts to not be scared from what's hiding underneath that chametz, but to realize 2 things. It's all a pawn. They're all pawns. All those things that are hiding, they're all pawns. And also, how beautiful the world would be when most of Am Yisrael would mamish feel in their hearts that they already have it, that it's vanished right there. So we'll sing one more strong nigun. This is a nigun that Reb Shlomo wrote in honor of Michael. This is a great nigun, okay? This is the mid-70s. He wrote like this. This is at his chuppah. His first chuppah. Kol mevaseh ve'oime, kol mevaseh ve'oime, kol mevaseh ve'oime, kol mevaseh ve'oime, kol
miles stronger right now. Imagine Mr. Tambourine right now in the room. Let's go. For you guys. Oh, this was a few weeks ago. I came down and cheer right after you got engaged. There's a good nigga. Let's sing before I forget it. The boy B'Shalom. It sounded like this. Come on, I have to sing it. Remind me. Boy Gidyantiv, we'll see you all B'ezrat Hashem next Wednesday night. Yofi. Good Shabbos, Gidyantiv.
Everybody who can stay to do the books, please do tonight. And some other times too.
1 second. I always save this right away. It's my grandmother's yard. Huh? What's your email on yourself? Your email. That's the recording. Every